welcome back into the video store. Lee, Doug, and Garrick are glad you may still be listening. Thanks for your patience as we get back in the swing of things on our podcast about the movies you've never heard of but must see. Let's start off with a couple of our sponsors. Golden Ticket Cinemas. Remember, $5.50 Tuesdays. Trust me, with inflation and gas the way it is, you should put the Golden Ticket on your priority list. Also, Table Rock Creative Group, the pinnacle of video marketing in the Carolinas, getting ready to change its name and merge with a film company called Lone Wolf Pictures, which is now another one of our sponsors. Have slated 4 films coming up in the next year, and we are excited for them as a film production company to be a part of our show. And also the Spot Toys. When it comes to collectibles, if you need it, they have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Bridges, Doug Wall, and Garrick Lane, it is Tales from the Video Store. The Godfather, Thief, Misery, Rollerball, Queen Bees, Out of Blue, Con Man, Undercover Grandpa, Holy Lands, JL Ranch, Good Enough, The Good Neighbor, Sicilian Vampire. Right. Now we're getting back there. How is my best? This is my best Samuel L. Jackson from Do the Right Thing, A Fighting Man, The Outsider, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and who could forget one of his most greatest roles, Elf with Will Ferrell. Now, on with the podcast. We love you, James Caan, and we will sure miss you. Shitface.
I know what you're thinking. Did I fire 5 bullets or 6? I guess you gotta ask yourself if you feel lucky. Well, do ya, punk?
Was that Clint Eastwood or Jack Palance? Just remember, you...
All my voices sound the same.
Just remember, you are my number one. Okay.
He says something else like, it's just a Magnum 45. It'll blow your head off. It'll blow your head off.
Why don't you do it in Polly Walnuts?
Hey! God.
Get your fucking hands off, or James Caan.
See, I can't do it because I can't get grizzled enough.
Yeah. Welcome to Tales from the Video Store, number 2. Wait. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Number 121. And we're doing a little Dirty Harry punk. How's it going?
It's going
good. We've got a lot to talk about this week. We had LQ. Is it LQ Jones?
Jones and James Caan.
James Caan and Tony Sirico. Paulie Walnuts. And anybody that doesn't know who Tony Sirico is, he was in a lot of Woody Allen movies, and he was Paulie Walnuts in probably the best television show ever created, underneath True Detective, The Sopranos. We've had a lot of passages. We'll get to that, but hey, what do you guys? Did you guys see the Clerks trailer? Clerks 3 trailer?
I did.
What do you think? Do I feel like it's a lot of the same, but is it a lot of the same that I really want?
But if it wasn't a lot of the same, would you be disappointed?
I don't know. That's why I bring it up, Lee. Is I don't know if I'm ready to see. Like, okay, so the Jay and Silent Bob rehash was good. It was a lot of the same, and I think I remember saying it was a lot of the same. And then I kind of watched it again, and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's Kevin Smith. But this is all Kevin Smith does. Clerks 3, And is it going to be good? It's the Kevin Smith story. What's his name has a heart attack and then wakes up and decides he's gonna make a movie in the convenience store that's gonna reround to go, that kind of takes us back to the regular Clerks. I don't know. I mean, of course I'm gonna watch it, but is it time for Kevin Smith to do something else?
Oh, absolutely.
Here's
but I don't know that he can. Like we talked about with Rob Zombie, I don't know that he can.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Lee.
I mean,
I don't think he can, because he tried, and
the Red State was good.
He had mixed results. I will say that. But I think his fans, he's a Comic-Con guy, man. His legion of fans that are probably our age, they get out of their, whatever, mom's or grandmom's basements for a couple of these cons a year and come see their boy Kevin, and that's what they want to see. They want more of this. So just let him go. I mean, to me, it's no different than hey, let's do some more Star Wars stuff. If
it's a brand.
Yeah, it's a brand. It's what they want. So I don't think it's a knock on him, really.
No.
But he's the guy. He's the only guy that can do it because he did it. Yeah. And if there's an audience for it, then fuck it, let him go, man.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go see it. I'm like, wow, Clerks 3, and if you look at the trailer, it's got everybody in it, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Didn't he do this 10, 15 years? The same
Clerks. Yes, I'm saying he's been doing the same thing. And it's going to have Ben Affleck. It's going to have everybody in it.
Yeah, but remember, he did the He-Man thing that you really liked.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right? So he has some passion projects that he likes that aren't really going to ever make him any money, but it makes him happy. This is where he makes his money. So let him make his money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Kevin Smith, we love you.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree, and I think it's great that he can put all his friends in a movie and they can all make a whole bunch of money. I don't know. I see Clerks 3 and I'm like, come on, man. Are we, so what is next? Jay and Silent Bob strike again? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical because he's doing what I'm not doing. Speaking of another celebrity doing what I'm not doing, this is, I didn't brief you on this before the podcast because I wanted to get your true 100% without rehearsed freaking answer for this. But I went to the beach for a shoot over the 4th of July. We ate at Wahlburgers. Now this is the Mark Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg hamburger shop.
Yeah.
They had hamburgers, they had fries with drizzle and garlic, truffle fries.
Who was in the back? Was it Donnie or Marky or?
I don't know. That's why I'm getting somewhere.
Was the whole Funky Bunch there? Because I don't know.
So it was good. It was very good.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean it's extremely popular.
That's my question. So these motherfuckers are making tons of money on making hamburgers and fries.
Yeah.
As a chef, what is the trick to making hamburgers taste different from one restaurant to the other? Like, is it their name that makes them good? Because the hamburger was really good.
Well, I don't know, because I've never eaten at one, and I rarely go out to eat like that. If I'm going somewhere for food, 99% of the time it's something ethnic. I don't go to like a mom and pop's or a burger joint or anything like that ever. So I really don't have an answer, but I would say that probably it helps tagging a celebrity with it. Does that mean necessarily that the food's going to be good? No.
Not Planet Hollywood and Hard Rock Cafe could test to that whole situation.
But you've got some money to invest in it, then you can throw some stuff out there, some fancy words like truffles on your fucking French fries or what the fuck ever that is, and you can kind of make it like, ooh la la, we're fucking hyping it up. So I get it, and for a mook like you going in there, it's like you think you're in fucking, somewhere special.
We actually only went to Wahlburgers because Hard Rock had an hour-long wait.
Okay.
And Wahlburgers didn't have any.
But I've heard the food is good for what
good.
it is. But I mean, let me ask you, how much was your burger?
Oh, it was outrageous. I think 4 of us, it was $100.
Yeah.
It's $20. It's $11 for the hamburger and then the $4 for the fries. And after a drink, you're looking at $20 a person.
Yeah.
But what? That's and it was good. But I'm just sitting there.
Are there ways to season meat? There are.
Right. I'm looking around, going, these assholes are making millions of dollars off this.
Well,
And
I
it's a
don't know how
hamburger
much.
joint.
I don't know how much they're making. I don't know what their bottom line is. But having a name attached to it certainly helps. But there's a reason that McDonald's is still around. There's a reason that, fucking Burger King's still around. They both sell hamburgers, but they're not anything really alike. You know what I'm saying? So you find your niche, and I guess that's what they've done.
All right, fair enough on that.
Yeah. Does it have a drive-through? I mean, I don't know.
No, it's a sit-down.
Oh, it's a sit-down. Okay.
But it's really nothing special besides the ceiling has all the names of the movies that all the Wahlbergs were in. And they're talking about growing up. Everything's talking
it's
about
a
growing.
Wahlberg.
It's Wahlburgers.
It's okay.
Yeah, Donnie and Mark and his brother and his sister are all over the...
I believe that the non-acting one is the guy that's really behind it, though. Am I right about that?
Right. Oh, yes. And I guess his brothers gave him some money. Maybe they had a little bit of money.
I don't know. I don't know that.
I don't know. I don't know the whole background.
I don't know.
I just ate the hamburger, and I'm sitting there looking at the truffle fries.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many people can profit off fucking hamburger? Like...
Well, lots.
I know. It just seems weird to me. It was really it was no nonsense. There wasn't any.
Well, it's like if I were friends of Brad Pitt and I wanted to open up a fucking pizza joint and call it Pitt's Pizza, and cut him into it and had pictures of him all over the place, it would fucking help sales, right? It would be easier for the bank to give me money.
That would be awesome, and everybody could drink out of the honey bear.
Yeah, there you go.
From True Romance, the bong.
That's the glass you get. Yeah.
Yes, and everybody could have a bar of soap, the pink soap, to clean their hands with after they've eaten. I love it.
That's perfect. We need to pitch Brad on this one.
Let me write that down.
Somebody find Pitt's number.
Pitt's Pizza.
But same thing, and it doesn't mean that the pizza, it could be shit. It doesn't fucking matter. I can charge whatever the fuck I want for it, and you're going to buy it because it's got Brad Pitt's face on it, right?
Fair enough.
Now, I don't know if that's the secret with Wahlburgers. I don't know. I heard they have good food. It's whatever. I mean, for what it is. But having your brothers being who they are can't hurt. I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but if it wasn't a reason, they probably wouldn't be calling it fucking Wahlburgers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
Yeah, fair enough. Well, another thing, I don't know, I don't know how much Lee can weigh in on this one either. I don't know how much of a Metallica fan is, but I don't know if you guys realize this, but the song "Master of Puppets" after the
Stranger Things.
Yeah, the Stranger Things finale has gone back on the charts.
And it's like number one. Rick called me and told me.
I know.
He's like, it's number one after like
it's
36 years. I was like, all right.
Yeah, and this is crazy. I've been listening to Metallica, and my kids are like, it's loud, turn it off. And it's funny because I always know who downloads what. Because we have the family plan for Apple. So every song that my kids download comes onto my phone, and I see what's last downloaded. Master of Puppets was downloaded from one of my 5 kids, and I'm like, that's funny. How funny is that a show does some sort of montage? I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. Does some sort of montage with Metallica, Master of Puppets, and now suddenly it's...
It was kind of unexpected, but the way they did it was one of the coolest things that they probably did this season on the show, I would say. But it kind of started, and I was like, man, that kind of sounds like, wait a minute. And then, you know, it really kind of gets into it, and you realize, no, it really is Master of Puppets. I thought it was like kind of like a Mister of Puppets, like a little knockoff where they were like fudging a note here and there, you know, so they wouldn't have to pay for it.
Right.
But no, it's straight up Master of Puppets, and I mean, it was cool, but you know, whatever.
They were so cool that
I guarantee you they had to pay for it because you know Lars don't fuck around with.
But I'm sure they're loving it now because now Metallica just did a live version where they were in the studio doing Master of Puppets while that scene was happening. They did a split screen, so everybody's profiting.
Everybody's cashing in
on the Master of Puppets.
That's smart, I guess.
Yeah. That's good, because those guys I was worried about, I don't think they have near enough money.
Yeah, no shit.
I know, no shit. I mean, after their fight with Napster and all, getting everything all wrapped up, are they ever going to come out with another album, or you think they're done?
I don't care.
You don't care anymore, do you?
Not even a little bit.
After that last one. Saint Anger was pretty rough, too.
I mean, look, I loved them back.
Death Magnetic was actually good.
I loved them back in the olden times, but I mean, it's hard for a metal band like that to remain like more than just a novelty once you reach a certain age. And I don't know if they're really. What? Lee, are you okay?
And also, like, once you have your third mansion, how metal can you be?
Right. Well, I would counter with like a band like Tool in their 60s, and they're making music that other bands can't make. Metallica is kind of living on what they did like 30 years ago, and that's fine. I mean, not everybody can be, can do what they do forever and it still be like interesting and new and like something people are going to want to listen to.
And have the same energy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree.
So I don't know if they'll make another album or not. I know I don't really give a shit. I mean, I've seen them live several times, and
I have too.
I had my love affair with them, and that ended some time ago.
Ended right after Load, didn't it? When you heard 2x4 on Load, you're like, that's it, I'm done.
They dropped the Load, and so did I.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, the Rick Rubin produced Death Magnetic was fantastic.
It was fun.
But that's because it was Rick Rubin going, you got to go back to your roots.
That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't really kept up with them.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, let's get into, speaking of Death Magnetic, we've got deaths. James Caan, man, we knew it was coming. It's funny, Clint, you remember Clint, who was on the show?
Oh, yeah.
My boy Clint, he worked out with him at the Venice Gold's Gym. He said up until the end, Caan would come in and his personal guy he was in a wheelchair, but he would lift and he would put his thumb up and he would greet people. So even up until the end, that bastard was freaking lifting weights.
He was like, get me out of the fucking house. Take me down here so I can see some pussy. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would be saying. I'm not trying to speak for...
Let me try to get some pussy.
I don't want to speak for James Caan. Because, I mean, look... Lee, we often talk about actors like some old school guys like James Caan that they don't make them like that anymore. They don't put them in movies anymore. Like grizzled fucking rattlesnake human beings.
Like Jack Nicholson, who's still alive, but we have not seen since As Good as It Gets. I have not seen his face.
Well, probably because it's not something he's wanting to fucking show off. But that's fine. I'm sure he's still out doing what the fuck he does.
Yes, correct.
And this is the same thing with Caan, man. I mean, he's just a rattlesnake of a human being, dude, that was very talented and very much, I think, what you saw in a lot of his movies is who he was
in real life.
In real life, more than not.
Oh, and it shows in Elf where he's trying to be... Like, at the end, he's, like, even his attempt to try and act like a nice guy, it comes off as
You're just like,
a bastard.
I'm not buying it. I'm not fucking buying it. But put on Thief and watch
Will
him.
Ferrell said when they finished shooting the movie, James Caan walked up to him and said, Will, I kept waiting for you to be funny the whole time, and you never were.
That's James Caan.
And that was his note.
Yeah.
He did not think Will Ferrell was funny, so he wasn't really acting. He just didn't think Will Ferrell was funny.
Well, Will Ferrell actually, in Jimmy's defense on that, he really wasn't that funny in Elf. He was kind of annoying, but that was what. Now Will Ferrell
he was going for, yeah.
In Talladega Nights, he's fucking funny. Will Ferrell and the other guys is fucking funny, but Elf, he was never. Elf, he's kind of not really funny. He's trying just to be so annoying.
Childlike.
Childlike. He wasn't there wasn't any funny jokes where he comes out in a fucking sweater and starts hitting the cowbell and shit like his normal Will Ferrell. Mm-mm. So yeah, but I do get that would only Jimmy Caan would come up with some shit like that. Say, what's the point of this movie? This movie sucks. And that movie was huge, huge.
I never liked
I never liked it either. I'm not a big fan. Now, it was Jon Favreau, and he did, Jon Favreau is a huge director now.
It just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was like, I don't know, that's probably says more about me than the movie.
Right.
Not much of a Christmas guy. Unless it's like real exports or,
Right.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, all right. So who's Jimmy's? What's Jimmy's? Your favorite Jimmy Caan movie?
Lee, I'll let you.
Thief.
It's Thief for me, 100%, dude.
I think so too.
That's him. Like he almost seems like he was this guy, and they just start following around and filming him because that's how good he is in this role.
Yeah.
I bought every fucking second of it. Yeah.
Misery was good though. I liked Misery.
He's fucking great in Misery.
I watched that about a year ago. I forgot how good that was.
Yeah.
Another good one is, he was fantastic in The Godfather.
Yeah, but I was thinking like he's not really the star in that movie. I was thinking James Caan movie.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Thief is it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had a bunch of smaller roles where he was great. I'm not trying to pan on some, like this was his only great thing, but for him singularly being like the focus of the movie, the star of the movie, it's Thief 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's unanimous decision on that. And then, of course, we've lost Tony Sirico.
I don't know if you're pronouncing that right or not.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's funny, man. I've been listening to Talking Sopranos. I've been listening to the podcast. They're doing one per episode, and then I'm watching the episode. And some of the Sirico stories, like he was Polly Walnuts, like through and through, kind of like Jimmy Caan was. He was. Yeah. That's who he was, Yeah. And that's a huge loss, man. We're losing everybody. Michael and Perioli will be the only guy left. Maybe Edie Falco.
Maybe.
Yeah, Steve Sherpo as he's so big. He's next. He has to be next. He's so overweight. I love his podcast, but you can just as I listen to him talk, man. You know how overweight guys talk? They when they talk they almost sound out of breath.
Labored breathing, we call it.
Yes.
That's how you say it nicely.
Yes.
You've got a touch of labored breathing. He must be hot in there. Right? You don't say, this fat fuck on the other end of this microphone. I wonder how many fucking rolls are on the back of his head. Yeah. You don't say that.
He just sounds big. He just sounds big.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And then a lot of people anybody listening to this podcast will know who LQ Jones is. But you might remember, in my generation, you remember him as in Casino. He's the Vegas commissioner that comes in and tries to get Joe Bob back on the payroll.
Yeah, he's Joe Bob's brother-in-law.
Yes, he's Joe Bob's brother-in-law, and he's talking, and he does a nice and courteous threat to Robert De Niro's ace Rothstein's character there at the very end when Ace Rothstein basically says, I'm not going to hire Joe Bob again because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of his last roles, I think.
I was, because he was 94 when he passed. I think he'd been retired for a while. And, he got to work with Sam Peckinpah and Martin Scorsese, so, I mean, and lived to be 94, so, nothing to complain about there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True enough.
This is his other most famous role. He's one of the bounty hunters of the Wild Bunch.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. Which, is one of the best Westerns of all time.
Oh, yeah.
To some people. Sam Peckinpah was a fucking bastard, too. But he was awesome. His movies were killer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's, I don't have any more news, I don't think. I think I've hit everything. Speaking of, real quickly, the Duffer Brothers have got a new deal. They're doing some spin-off of Stranger Things. They're going to spend their whole... The Durham boys are going to spend their whole career doing Stranger Things in the Upside Down.
Well, had you sat through the last season, which I know a lot of people enjoyed, but I didn't really care for it as far as, if you liked season 1 of Stranger Things for that kind of way it made you feel, that nostalgia kind of feeling, I didn't get that with this last season at all. Not saying it was bad, it's just different. And so my Stranger Things days are probably numbered. I don't know.
Well, there's only one more season, and then they're done.
Well, thank Christ, because the kids are going to be in their fucking mid-20s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep, that's absolutely true. All right, well, let's get into it. Punk. Dirty Harry. Warner Brothers, one of first... collaborations between Warner Brothers and Clint Eastwood. Who wants to introduce the movie, if it needs introduction at all?
Lee, go
ahead. I don't
ahead.
think it needs much introduction. I mean, it's, it was the movie that made Clint a superstar.
Yeah.
He was well known for the Dollars films before that and lots of things in his TV show Rawhide. But this is where he went from being a famous actor to a movie star.
Yeah.
This is the Clint Eastwood movie.
It is.
Yeah, and it's and really completely changed action movies as far as movies regarding cops, which is why I picked it first, because really, even a movie like what came out a few years before that, Bullet, is a completely different movie than Dirty Harry. Sort of the badass. This is sort of the first badass cop movie.
It was a badass cop movie.
He is a badass.
Yeah,
Even though he's wearing a sweater and a nice coat, like a tweed jacket, in 1971, he was the baddest motherfucker on the street.
And they took advantage of him. They clear that up in the movie a couple of times, where when they don't want to deal with it, they send him.
Right. Every dirty job.
Yep. What'd you think about it, Doug?
Look, I had not watched it from start to finish, and I would say at least since probably, honestly, the late 80s. I can't think of another time that I've sat and watched it from start to finish. It looks great. The fucking music is awesome. It's got that 70s, like, a lot of the shots, a lot of, like, I don't know the fancy terms for them, but in a lot of 70s action, it's like that running camera kind of, I don't know how you, kind of shaky camera thing. I'd almost get dizzy some points in the movie.
It's like a handheld.
Yeah, a little bit of it during some scenes, like when he goes to meet Scorpio to take him the money in the park. It's so fucking dark, I couldn't see what the fuck was happening for like 5 minutes of the movie. I kept trying to adjust it on my TV. I was like, God damn.
That's probably the print.
Right. I mean, it's just a thing of the times, whatever. But I will say this, what my most disappointing takeaway from it was. And everybody knows his fucking famous catchphrase. The, do you feel lucky, punk?
Yeah.
And I don't know why I had forgotten it, or maybe I just didn't know that. I didn't know that he says it twice in this movie, and it kind of, I don't know why it kind of bugged me. I guess he kind of had to, maybe, but when he did it at the end, was when he did it initially earlier in the movie. These guys are trying to rob a bank, and he's sitting in a fucking shop eating a hot dog and comes out and foils the whole thing and like blows the car up and does it to one of the robbers. It's very kind of lighthearted, and you kind of know, like, this dude's not going to do shit, and it just had a different feeling when he did it at the end, and I don't know, it just kind of bugged me for whatever reason. Like, when the movie ended, I was like, damn, I wish that wouldn't have happened, maybe.
Yeah, well, it just didn't ever, I don't think it ever felt like he was, besides the time he got beat up, like, I never felt like he was in peril at all.
Well, I don't really feel like any heroes are in peril anymore like I did when I was a kid or younger watching movies. Like, you would go into it and you're like watching Die Hard, it's like, holy shit, is he going to make it?
Yeah, right.
I never had that feeling in this. I was never really concerned with him. It's a weird movie, man. Like, they have this fucking guy like 3 different times and he keeps getting away. It's like, hey, he's in the one building on the roof. How the fuck do you let him out of it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is a weird movie.
It's a weird...
Very uneven.
Just a weird movie. Not a bad movie. Maybe it's just a sign of the times. Like, that's just kind of how things were pieced together in 71. Andrew Robinson, who was Scorpio, was fucking great. I mean, as a creepy fucking dude. And, it's very, like, today with his, like... I have rights, I have feelings, you stepped on my rights and, you've done me wrong. Like, don't worry about the people I shot or any of this. It's all about me. And that, watching the movie ring true with me, I was like, very good, Lee, like, good pick. And although society doesn't want to admit it, and I'm sure they didn't back then as well, sometimes it takes a motherfucker to take down a motherfucker. And in this, like, he's the only guy that can do it, and ultimately he's the only guy that can do it and does do it. But that whole aspect of it, for a movie that's, 51 years old.
It really is.
Yeah, it rang very true with topics that are still going on today between criminals, cops, and society. And it's still very relevant. So it's a very good movie. I mean, I enjoyed it. Just the whole thing about him saying the thing twice, I was like, God damn it, I don't remember. I guess I just had not remembered him doing it that first time. I just remembered the end part, and when he did it twice, I was like, nah, you fucked it up, and just kind of like, it lost its, like, I don't know.
Well, I think that point is it's almost like the first time, it's almost like this is something he said even before the bank robbery.
It feels like something he says all the time.
He should have gotten
there. But at the end, when he's got the kid on the dock and everything, it's completely, like, he's saying it, he means it.
Yeah.
Like he's he's almost like he's not even thinking about this as something he's rehearsed. It's like, and then when you're talking about the way he dresses, I think the way he's dressed so square is because it does take place in San Francisco, and they were trying to differentiate him from, at that time, the sort of the counterculture of the time,
the hipsters. Like,
this is a guy who came up in the 1950s, and he's completely different than the hippies.
Oh yeah,
who were, this is a dude here, like, and really, like, this movie was like, say, 71. Like, Miranda rights had only been on the books, like, 4 or 5 years.
Not that long.
Not even that, yeah. And so this was like this whole, like, a person has rights is a fairly new idea when this movie came out.
Yeah.
Because before that, a cop could just kind of arrest you,
or kick the shit out of you, or shoot you and talk his way out of it.
If they say you did it, you just kind of did it.
Yeah.
And so, and this is sort of a reaction to that, and sort of, a movie about victims' rights as opposed to, someone who's civil rights is someone who's been arrested.
Right.
And it's obviously inspired by the Zodiac Killer. I mean, the guy's name is the Scorpio Killer.
Yeah.
And if you watch David Fincher's Zodiac, there's a scene where the character that Mark Ruffalo plays, he goes and watches Dirty Harry. You know, and the guy Mark Ruffalo plays is the guy Clint Eastwood based him on. Detective David, I can't remember his last name, but he was the lead detective in the Zodiac case. And just sense. It's obviously, like Doug was saying, it's obviously a product of his time. It's very 1971, you know. But it's in a weird way. I don't really, someone like say River, like your son Garrick, I don't know that he could really watch it now because he's seen so many movies that have taken from it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think he could watch it and get at it what we get out of it, because we've been watching it, like you said, Doug, since the 80s, you know, and now, like kids now, they've seen 50 years worth of movies that have been ripping this movie off.
Yeah. And Badass Cops, like, that was not a thing, like you said, back then, which it's totally been a theme in Hollywood for the last 25 years, I mean, heavily.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, all the good ones are fucking shitbags, and that's why we love them.
Right, yeah, exactly. And the movie you watched last week, I believe, there's like so many movies like this that, like, I've seen Andy Robinson in other movies where they clearly cast him because he was in Dirty Harry.
Yes.
You know, and things like that. Like, it's, you know, yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he was really good. I mean, for playing a psychopathic fucking weirdo, he was perfect. I liked his,
and
like,
whininess. It kind of
whininess.
ruined his career. Like, he was only the Scorpio Killer after this.
Well, that was my question. Is I don't remember seeing him in anything after this.
No, he's been tons of, like, he's in the first movie we reviewed years ago, Hellraiser. He's the girl's dad. Like, he's in tons of movies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But he had to, like, you know, I guess he could only, like, you know, if he went out for a bigger movie, they'd be like, oh, you have to be the killer. Because he was, you know...
Typecast.
Typecast, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was always... I mean, every movie... 90% of the movies I've seen him in, he's always the bad guy.
He's got a very Malcolm McDowell...
Oh, yeah.
He does.
...to him. Like,
he does.
A couple of times I was like, damn, he looks just fucking like him.
Yeah, he does. That's a definite... That's a good call on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. This movie does not get made now.
Oh no.
I mean, yeah, you could still make it. I think.
Clint Eastwood is the only person that could look at a Mexican in a movie right now and call him a spick and get away with it.
Well, the racist part, you couldn't make it verbatim, no.
Right.
Yeah, no, you absolutely. I mean, a lot of the dialogue and stuff, absolutely not. But the story of, like, a kind of a dirty, haggard, grizzled older cop, like, getting involved in, like, a big case in a big city and kind of ending up being the only guy that can take him down, absolutely, I think you could recreate that. I think it has been recreated. It's like, I mean, it's the fucking Last Boy Scout.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of these, like... I mean, they're all, like Lee was talking about, like, all the movies that have been made over the last 50 fucking years, you know, especially involving, you know, not your everyday police officer. You know, you've got these off-the-wall fucking alcoholic, haggard, grizzled, shitty fucking husband, shitty dads playing these amazing fucking heroes. He's the original of that. Even though he wasn't necessarily a bad guy or whatever, but if you simply looked at the language and the dialogue in it, you'd be like, oh my God. You know, he's a fucking racist and all this. But when he says what he says, you know, he winks at the other guy, you know, that's standing there to let him, I mean, because everybody knows he's not like that. He's just putting on a facade.
Yeah.
But,
right.
You know. So, yeah, I mean, I think it could be remade. Would it be as impactful? Would it be the same thing? No. Absolutely not. But I think you could redo it. Sure. But I think it's been done.
Yeah, it's been
Is
done.
what I'm
It's
saying.
not been. It's not Dirty Harry or
Yeah, but it's been.
Cluttered Clint.
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's The Last Boy Scout and Die Hard, all wrapped into.
It's
this,
all these dirty cop movies. Dude.
Now there you go.
They all took a piece from Dirty Harry.
So you gotta feel lucky. So how many rental nights you taking this one?
God damn, I hate this. Look, I don't know. I don't need to. Look,
You don't need to watch it again.
I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah.
So that's not
It's a
necessarily
long night.
a knock on it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a once a decade or so,
Yeah.
kind of refresher, and then you kind of move on to the others if you want to that were the sequels in this. But as a standalone movie, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
And
It's good.
I think it probably had more of an impact in '71, than it does in 2022.
Oh, great.
Like if you try, like Lee was saying, if you tried to watch this with River, I don't know if he'd even make it to the end.
No. There's no way.
There was a shot I wanted to ask you about, which today would be
in the stadium.
the stadium. Yeah,
Yeah.
like did they put a crane like a fucking mile away and like focus it in and then start slowly drawing it back? Because today you would easily do that with a drone. But they just kept going and going and going. I was like, fucking hell, man, that crane's got to be a half mile fucking down the street.
It was probably a crane and a 70 to 1,000 millimeter, and they had had it on a crank, and they just cranked it.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch the shot, his tie and hair blowing all over the place, I was wondering if they were in a helicopter.
They
were just zooming
may
out.
have been. Hey, they may have been.
Because it gets very far away.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, I got to remember to ask these boys about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, so it just depends. It's either a zoom in or a zoom out with a really big lens, or like you said, a helicopter. I'd have to look at it.
Because it kind of seems like there's wind blowing during that shot, and when he's walking towards him after he shoots it, there definitely isn't. And I was wondering if it was like Don Siegel up in a helicopter.
Yeah, I don't know.
You may be right.
It was a very interesting shot for the time.
Yeah, you could tell that was probably one of the things they set the movie around. Like they were like, we're going to do this awesome shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep, there's wind in his hair. Good call, Nat Lee. Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking steady to be a chopper, dude. Right?
Oh, it's a helicopter shot. Yeah, there's wind in his jacket. Yeah, that's 100% a helicopter. There's even helicopter shake right there. Yeah, there's no way that's a zoom lens. That's a helicopter shot, Lee. You tell him what he's won, Bob.
Nothing.
yeah.
What another Jaws behind the scenes book from Bantam House.
Really nicely done, though.
Yeah, and a swift kick in the ass. And a go fuck yourself from your co-host. So right.
Well, that's all I've ever wanted.
Well, that's good. Well, like I said, we had to watch it again just to get that. So
It was very fucking cool, man. But like I say, it felt like something that they were like in pre-production, like, all right, we've got an idea for this fucking shot, and we're definitely going to do this. So, I mean, your expert opinion is that it is a helicopter, and that's Lee's guess.
150% a helicopter.
We'll look it up, and we'll know.
I bet the farm.
Okay.
I would bet the farm.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked because at the end of the fucking shot, they're a goddamn mile away. It seems like, I mean, it's. They
I would
really
bet the farm on it.
Yeah. Cool
So there
shot.
you go. All right, Dirty Harry and the cool football stadium helicopter shot.
So there were how many? There were 2 sequels.
5. There's 5 movies total.
Deadpool
5?
and Deadpool was it Deadpool?
There's Dirty Harry. There's Magnum Force. There's the Enforcer.
Yeah.
There's Sudden Impact, and there's Dirty Harry and the Deadpool.
And the Deadpool that has Jim Carrey as the guy who dies in the
Yes.
in the
Very
hard
beginning.
open. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was before Living Color. That was like back.
Oh yeah, right before.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get moving. We're running a little bit late today.
I would suggest to watch them all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, if you like the first one, or if you don't like the first one, keep going with it, man, because he's a cool character.
He is a cool character.
And he evolves because the last one was made sometime, in the mid-'80s?
Yep.
88.
So that's,
And those movies made so much money for Warner Brothers that Warner Brothers is actually going to give him a picture deal when he's in his casket. He'll get one more movie to direct when they are.
I was hoping that one last one was probably Cry Macho.
Oh yeah.
God. Whew.
Yeah, he's probably done, I think.
I love him, but my God. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on.
He did do a couple of really good movies that he wasn't in. Like Mystic River was fucking great, and he was not in it.
American Sniper, he's not in it.
Yeah, he's not in it. That was great too. Even $1 Million Baby, I think, was his best last movie.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't remember, man. I can't keep up. He's like Spike Lee.
Well, it's like Gran Torino, and then you got this other one where he's a racist old fuck. I mean, I can't remember all the names.
The Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil with Kevin Spacey. He wasn't in. And that one was pretty good too.
I really, really always enjoyed that movie quite a bit. Yeah. I don't know if it still has legs, but I mean, I'd watch it.
You might have to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what'd you watch this week, Doug?
So, I don't remember if it was last week or week before last. Lee, you said you watched the Last Night in Soho, the Edgar Wright.
That was on the 5-month sum up, because I watched that like months ago.
Okay. I am absolutely shocked that you made it to the end of this. Because I know how much you abhor, like, fucking ghost story bullshit. And I don't really give a fuck if I'm spoiling it for anybody. Ultimately, that's what it is. However, a couple of things I'll give them credit for. It looks fucking amazing.
It does look amazing.
The idea behind it is okay. It's just not... See, I get really bothered when somebody who has the veteran presence and has written and directed enough stuff like Edgar Wright has to write something like this, and then it fails like when he tries to put it to print. Because to me, it had a lot of parts of it that I like, but man, ultimately it is not good, I didn't think.
Well, I give him credit because when I heard he was not going to make a non-comedy, I was very excited.
Yeah.
Because I don't think his last few comedies have been very good.
I was feeling the same thing. I wanted to see what he could do with something.
And I know he is one of the world's biggest Brian De Palma fans.
Yeah.
And so I completely understand him going and making this movie, which is, it has, elements of Giallo, elements of there's a lot of Brian De Palma in it. And I appreciate that, but I also agree with what you're saying. Like, I watched it in probably January or February, and I probably have to watch it again to tell you a lot of what happened.
Yeah.
I do remember the ghost part you're talking about, but a lot of it I just don't recall. I mean, I remember it just being like it was almost like I'm glad he made a non-comedy. That was more my enthusiasm. He tried something different.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that. Just it wasn't presented or sold to me as what it ended up being. Like it's a fucking ghost story, but that's not what it was sold to me as. And so that's why, like, once it all kind of comes to pass, I was like, what the fuck is this? However, Anya Joy-Taylor walking around doing her shit dressed up like a fucking girl in the 60s in that era and that, that look was
so yummy. I would drink her bathwater for sure.
Okay, easy. Was fucking hot. And hey, if you like her, you can suffer through the rest of it. Right? Other thing I watched is a blast from, I know at least from Garrick and I's past, There was a time where it seemed like anywhere that we were, this fucking movie was playing when we were in high school.
It was Dazed and Confused or this.
Menace to Society from the Hughes brothers. I had not watched this movie in probably almost 30 years because I never felt the need to because I've seen it so many fucking times. But I saw it was on and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a day in court.
It doesn't have legs.
See, I'm going to disagree with you.
Because the acting is terrible.
But that's okay. That's not why we liked it. All the lines, all the great fucking
we liked
one-liners.
It because we were black guys who lived in the...
we loved all the one-liners. Like, go make me a cheeseburger, stupid ass bitch. All that shit still plays.
Why don't you give me a cheeseburger, stupid ass bitch?
You know, all the scenes, like, come around here about 10:30. You know, talking to that fucking ultra white guy coming to the hood to get that car. Like, all the shit that we used to fucking pick up on from this and make fun of still lives in this movie.
Man, I'll suck your dick.
All that.
Give me that cheeseburger. I need some cheeseburger.
Yeah, and you know, look,
man, I'll suck your dick.
Is it great? It's what's the it's not as hard hitting, I won't say, as like Boys in the Hood, maybe. But I think it might be a better movie.
O-Dog was freaking crazy.
Lorenz Tate, that was his first thing. Jada Pinkett.
That was beautiful with those extensions in her hair. Oh my goodness.
I mean, there's
Glenn
a lot.
Plummer was the cameo.
Yeah, there's a lot from this that I really kind of was like, damn, man, this is all right. You know, I didn't love it, but I enjoyed revisiting something from fucking high school days that I swear.
What happened to those guys? They did that movie with Johnny Depp and Heather Graham with Jack the Ripper, and then they've disappeared. Or Dead Presidents was
I think they direct separately now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question, Doug. Do you think the Hughes brothers, not unlike Edgar Wright, are sort of hung up by their first film? The way Edgar Wright, is with Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like that. It became their calling card, but also became the thing they're never going to surpass.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens sometimes.
Oh, it happens. Yeah, it happens quite a bit.
It happens. You get kind of that stigma of like, you know, this is what you need to do. This is what you're good at. You know, kind of like we were talking about with Kevin Smith. It's like, you know, he made some other movies, but they're still all kind of the same fucking thing. You know, they could have easily made several movies about, you know, this kind of gangster culture in early 90s and gotten away with it and probably made, you know, a pretty penny on doing it. But, I mean, look, it's just okay. And like you say, the acting's not great. The guy who's the main character, I remember seeing him in one thing after this, and I was like, damn, he is not a good actor. He's fine in this role, but, you know, but that's... Like I said earlier, that's not really the reason to watch this. That's not why we were all about this. It was just because of the story and the dialogue. And a lot of their conversations were fucking great. And they still are. You said it has no legs. I say for what it is, it'll have legs till the end of time. It's just a blip in history.
Yeah, maybe. I can watch Dazed and Confused, though, and still smile. The last time I watched Menace to Society, I cut it off halfway through, and I was like,
I just made myself get through it. I made it.
It wasn't as good as I thought it was when I was an immature kid. It was just introduced to cigarettes and drinking.
Oh, we'd been on it.
Being badass.
We'd been on it for a couple years at that point. Don't even trip.
Whatever. All right.
Anyway, all right. So then I watched one cool
Stupid
thing.
Ass bitch.
And back when it came out, and for several years after it, I referred to this movie as Stallone Cobra. Because that's what was on the fucking movie poster.
Stallone Cobra.
That was on my fucking bedroom wall. It said Stallone Cobra. That was the name of this fucking movie. It's George Cosmatos. To me, it's his best work.
Besides Tombstone, but Kurt Russell directed Tombstone.
Correct.
So,
It's got Sly at his very best.
I just want to go get a toothpick and talk to you with a toothpick and some glasses.
He's got the fucking coolest fucking car. The coolest fucking gun with a goddamn Cobra on it. You were talking about Brigitte Nielsen last week, and how fucking Stone Cold had her fucking hair. Well, I saw her hair in real life in this movie. And this was before she made whatever transition she's made.
Is in Cobra?
Yeah. Brian Thompson.
Was this the movie that they were together for a little while, weren't they?
Yeah. I think they maybe gotten together in the Rock. Was she in one of the Rockies, maybe?
She's in Rocky 4.
Yeah, she was Drago's wife.
And I think Stallone was banging her. And then this came shortly after that, right?
Well, no wonder Drago killed Apollo. He's fucking pissed.
He was pissed off that fucking Rocky was banging his lady. Look, dude. So this is another one of those movies like I'm talking about that steals from Dirty Harry. But
and Andrew Robinson's in this movie.
Yeah, it's just a more modernized version of the same cop.
We're going to do Dirty Harry, but we're going to call it Stallone Cobra.
And the guy, his partner in Cobra is the partner from the first Dirty Harry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Look at that.
I mean,
how does that work? That's good. Now, that's good podcasting research right there, Dougie.
Look,
you get the MVP this week.
I was alluding to this movie, and I just showed a little clip of like this dude sharpening this knife, which I went to a fucking gun show and found something so similar to it because I had to have it that my dad ended up taking it away and fucking throwing it out on me. But it was like a handle with spikes and like this cool curved blade. I had to fucking have it because back when this came out, and this came out in '88, I believe, I was absolutely fucking obsessed with this movie. I just thought it was the coolest shit ever. The laser sights on his gun I thought was fucking mind-blowing. His car, mind-blowing. He's banging Brigitte, mind-blowing. He's chopping up pizza, mind-blowing. Every fucking thing he did in this, you've got Satanists like as cops and all that. Like, the grungy, dirty fucking underbelly of this movie is what I love about movies. Like,
absolutely.
It is not for everyone, but if you appreciate that fucking slimy fucking taint, that movie Taint, that's what the fuck this is. It's a hairy, smelly fucking taint of a movie, and I fucking love it.
I was actually reading something about this movie like a few months ago. And it was two guys talking about it. I can't remember. One guy said the movie didn't make any sense. And then the other guy brought something up which I've never considered, but actually makes perfect sense. The guy said, it's not an action thriller. He said it's an action giallo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said the Night Thrasher, what's the killer's name?
Night Slasher.
The Night Slasher, he said, if you put him in an Italian giallo from the early 70s, he said he would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
And now that when you look at it that way, the sort of over the topness of the movie actually does make sense.
Yeah.
And it has a director. Oh, he was Greek, but he worked in Italy beforehand. Mm-hmm. You know, so he was a Greek, but he was an Italian director. So that actually makes the movie makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Because he was going for that sort of tone.
Yeah.
You know? He wasn't going for realism because realism's fucking boring.
Yeah, no, I wanted Satan cops and like all that. Like that fucking that fucking lady cop, man. I used to have fucking nightmares about her, dude. Oh god damn.
The most unrealistic scene in the movie is when they tell Stallone that she's going to be on the squad, and he doesn't go, that bitch is evil.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Because she just reeks of evilness.
Yeah. But
and this movie doesn't have a serial killer. It has a cult of serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love everything about this movie. Doug, I completely agree with you.
Where did you see it?
I had to fucking rent it on Prime. It's the only place I could find it.
Wow, you had to rent it. Yeah, I don't think you can get it anywhere.
In my long lost VHS collection that is long fucking rotting in a fucking trash pit somewhere, this was among my treasures that for some reason or another I don't have it on DVD or Blu-ray, but I promise you after watching it I will absolutely be getting it because it's something that I just fucking love. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the first fucking scene in the grocery store, that crazy motherfucker, and Stallone coming over and fucking a beer gets shot and he fucking grabs it and chugs it. I just was like, I want to fucking be him, dude. That fucking car? Come on, man. Are you kidding
Doug
me?
likes hairy, smelly taints.
Oh, movie taints. This is my fucking shit. I love it. I love it.
Okay, awesome.
Fucking love this shit, dude. God damn. I swear it's at the heart of what I love about movies, man, is when somebody's like, you know what? Let's just go, man, and just see what happens.
Put a fucking toothpick and some glasses on.
Just be as fucking much of a fucking pompous twat as you can fucking get away with. Yeah. Be as evil looking as you can be. Like all that. I just fucking loved it.
George, what's my
I love at the end of the movie, Stallone, he's not even trying to arrest him. He's just setting motherfuckers on fire.
There's no warrants at that point. It's just fucking kill them all. Yeah.
George, what's my motivation for this scene? Sylvester, just shut up. Put the toothpick in your mouth and look pissy. Okay, good. That's roll this camera.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
What did you see, Lee?
Hold up. How many fucking rentals? I don't know. How many have you got? Because that's how many I want.
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. It's a keeper.
It's a fucking
go out and rent it for $4 and never return it and never go back to that. Never go back to that video store. Fuck Blockbuster. Yeah. I'm gonna go down to Stavies.
It's the fucking shit. The fucking shit.
We're gonna move. I'm gonna move my membership to Family Video because I never returned Cobra to Blockbuster. I can't go back to that one.
I love it when it's been a long time since I've seen something that I loved, and then you fucking rewatch it again, and it's everything and more. And that's what this was for me. It's fucking everything. I kept getting like the same feelings, like when they're in there fucking clanking the fucking sledgehammers and shit. I used to love that, and apparently I still do. So that's what I watched.
All right, Lee, what'd you watch?
I watched. Me and Bonnie watched this. It's a trilogy of slasher movies on Netflix called the Fear Street movies.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Tell me about these.
Sort of connected. There's like flashbacks, and like one's in the 90s, one's in the 70s, and then one takes place in the 1600s, which is the third one. And I think they're based on
R.L. Stein.
No, young adult novels, and they were okay. You know, they had some very good gore in them. There was one takes place in a kill that takes place in a grocery store, and somebody got their head put through a bread slicer. Which actually, I was like, well, damn, that they went all in on that shit. But I mean, it gets a little with the time travel and the flashbacks and the whatnot. It gets a little. The end, it got a little, hokey. But I mean, Bonnie loved it. That's the main thing.
Very nice.
And other than that, I watched a movie from the late 80s called Relentless with Judd Nelson.
Oh yeah,
where he's a phone book killer. He's picking people's names out of the phone book, and his father was a police officer, and he couldn't get into the LAPD because of he failed the psychological exam. So basically, he's trying to commit murder by suicide, waiting for the LAPD to catch him and kill him.
Interesting.
And it was directed by William Lustig, who made Maniac and the Maniac Cop movies. It's probably his most mainstream movie. You know, it was like this one was made. He was making this for everybody, but it's still a pretty scummy movie. I hadn't seen it. I probably hadn't seen it since the late '80s, and a very entertaining movie.
Nice.
And other than that, I watched. Let me see if I try to think of anything else I watched. No, that's it. Other than that, I've been very busy.
Okay.
Gardening.
Yeah.
Gardening. Yeah.
Yeah. It's time consuming.
It is. That's why all my shit is dead. I even killed my cactuses this winter. I put them out for one day, thinking it was cut. Yep, I have no green thumb. Like, my fucking thumb is red. It's
you have a green butthole.
Yeah.
You just take life and just shit all over it, don't
Yep,
you?
I do. That's exactly right. Yep. So I bought an Arrow DVD of a restoration of the 8 diagram pole fighter. And
nice.
Yes, incredible print, incredible movie. I don't know if anybody knows. It's one of Shaw Brothers' probably most popular movies. The end fight is ridiculous. The drama in the movie. Anybody that loves old kung fu movies must watch this one. If you would like to see it, I have a very beautiful Blu-ray print that I just paid $20 for.
Very
it's
nice.
worth every penny. So you definitely must watch this. Chia-Long Liu it's hard to pronounce, but it's about Run Shaw. It's got all the. I mean, it's just the cast is incredible. It's about a family seeking revenge on another family, and the fights and the kung fu are just there. I mean, it's one of the best. It's anybody. I would almost tell people, anybody that's like, I'm not into kung fu movies, I would like to give them this and go, you should watch this then.
The staff fighting at the end when they're taking out the wolf's teeth.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's just is crazy.
It is crazy.
And especially considering that the two brothers that live, the one that loses his mind.
Yes. It's a sad ending.
He was supposed to be the main character of the movie, but he died halfway through filming, and that's why Gordon Liu's in the movie, because they had to.
Yes.
Alexander Lau, the guy who was playing the brother who lived, the one who went crazy, he got in a car wreck and died while filming.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yep.
And Gordon Liu was brought in. And that's why the movie, it's kind of, the two brothers aren't really in the same place at the same time, because they had to sort of patch the movie together. And it being as great as it is, that's amazing.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. And nobody even notices. It's so incredibly
yeah, absolutely. Unless you know that, it's completely, you can't even tell. But great movie.
And then while I was on that kick, I watched one of Jackie Chan's first movies, another Shaw. Run Shaw was, this was before Jackie went to Golden Harvest, I believe. This was Spiritual Kung Fu from 1978.
Oh yeah, very early.
Yeah, very early on. Basically, director was way low. He did a bunch of them, but this was your typical Jackie Chan movie. Lots of comedy and lots of fun, and then the fight is just absolutely ridiculous. It's a fun movie. It's on Prime on the Hi-Ya subscription, and so yeah, man, I've been watching the kung fu movies.
Nice.
I also, real fast, just juxtaposition of the two movies I just announced. I watched the 47 Ronin, the Keanu Reeves version.
Okay.
I've never seen that movie.
It's funny, man.
It's streaming somewhere. I just
on
saw
HBO.
it. Is it
It's
HBO
on
Max? I was gonna say I
Max.
just saw it the other day, and I was like, eee.
If Keanu Reeves was Shia LaBeouf, I would say that I fucking hate this movie. But it's Keanu Reeves, and it's how can you hate a Keanu Reeves movie? Like it's not good. It's not good. But I won't trash it like many people did. It's probably one of his movies that people make the most fun of.
Look, dude.
Well, I know it was the first time director, and they just gave him an obscene amount of money to make this movie.
Yeah.
And I think from what I read, it kind of got away from the guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
And Keanu Reeves probably the whole time was going, "It's okay, fella. We're gonna do this. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna get."
But once he learned kung fu through utilizing the Matrix,
yeah, I mean,
he's fine.
You're right. He did. He learned kung fu through the Matrix. I think he took the blue pill.
I remember when this came out, and a lot of people were bashing it, and It like Garrick says, it's not great, but I didn't find it to be as terrible as everybody said, and I actually liked the way it ended.
Yeah.
It ended in a kind of
they all die. I mean, the spoiler, they all die. It ended how it's supposed to have died. They all the samurai died because they betrayed the temple. So there you go. There, spoiler alert.
But there's some wacky shit like a crazy witch and
that fucking dude with a tattoo. I can't remember what his character is, but it's worth the watch.
Like a Takashi Miike.
If I remember that correctly, that was a movie that came out after 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where 300 had made a huge amount of money, and they were like, let's make something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was,
different director, you might have had something.
Yeah. You'd had somebody.
Right.
And maybe not like, Keanu Reeves is the main character of a Japanese samurai movie. But it's whatever.
It is whatever. All right, well, that's it for this week. We're running a little long, but that was a pretty interesting discussion. Yeah. I was going to announce what we might do next week, but actually I'm not going to announce, just in case that kind of falls through or schedules don't line up. So we'll just leave everybody hanging to find out what we're doing next week.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck we're doing next. Where are we even going?
We'll go ahead and...
You've already fucking talked about this like 3
times. Yeah,
we're
going to try to have one of my filmmaker buddies, Bobby Knipe, on the podcast to talk about some of these horror movies he's doing. He's got a lot going on. He just shot Petey Pablo, and he did a couple of... horror films with Donald Farmer, which I'm sure a lot of people would know that watch our podcast. Anyway, we were going to have him on the show, but he's kind of busy, and we've been kind of busy, and I wasn't sure if schedules were going to line up.
At some point.
So I will say in the next in the next month, even if we're in the middle of a block, we may, break it up and have Bobby come on and have a... we don't do that much where we have, a lot of people come in.
It'd be nice to have somebody on to
absolutely
do some Q&A.
Talk some independent film, which is obviously Lee and I's background. So, but if Bobby can't get Bobby lined up for next Monday or Tuesday, we'll have to do something. So we'll figure it out. We'll post it up.
Yeah, I have no idea where we're going next.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. And R.I.P. Jimmy Kahn. Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to our podcast anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can also get more info on us at our Patreon page, our Facebook page, our Instagram, Twitter, and soon-to-be Reddit page. And if that's not enough, just go straight to our website and get everything. It's videostoretales.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week. Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
God almighty.